how to update to the new API. The endpoint is deprecated and will not be accessible once the Graph API version is released. And so then it links to use the live instead, which takes you to Facebook for developers. And that.
Oh wait, okay. So I guess it's. Hey, Alex.
Yeah.
Alex, hold up. Alex.
I'm trying to stop.
Alex, hold up. Alex. 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 Oh wait, okay. So I guess it's. Hey, Alex. So it looks like It looks like it's going live. But there's some weird kind of delay. All right, so why don't you guys unmute yourselves?
Yeah. Can you hear me now? Is Facebook live now?
Yes.
Yeah.
1 second, guys.
Unmute.
Okay, this should be okay. Yeah, you guys go ahead and unmute yourselves.
Okay, so now it's working, right?
Yeah, Alex, I think that we're good. I think that if you go to the YouTube page, it looks like we're good there, and so we'll see how many people come over. But Alex, I can see it on my other computer. I can see the YouTube page live. Sorry, folks, we're just having some technical issues here from Facebook coming over. So, Alex, it looks like we're good on YouTube, right?
Should I post this link in my Facebook?
Yeah. So if you copy this link here, Subrata,
I'm going to post
in the
it
chat, and you put that on your Facebook page, just tell people to go there because Facebook isn't allowing us to stream for some reason.
Okay, I'm posting it right now.
But YouTube is allowing us to stream.
Okay.
So I think we're good. I think we're good. But hey, Alex, tell me if let's see. Hang on 1 second. I want to share my computer's audio with everybody. Alex, tell me if this is sounding okay. 1 second. Alex, tell me if you can hear this on YouTube. Okay. All right, so it looks like we have sound, you guys. And I'm not sure where Indrajit went.
Yeah, no, I'm here.
Oh, you are? Okay, oh, there you are.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, your video was off there for a second, though. Okay, no. I got you. All right. Great. Well, all right, so we had to kind of migrate everything from Facebook for some reason or other. I'm not sure what's going on with Facebook, but it wouldn't let us live stream. So we've asked some of the Facebook folks to come over here and see us on YouTube. So we'll try this and see what happens. But Subrata, thank you for joining me. Indrajit, thank you for joining me. Subrata, you're actually in Calcutta, is that right?
Right.
Calcutta,
I'm
India.
Yeah.
And Indrajit, you're in a very foreign place. Also, you're in Austin, Texas.
Yes.
Right on. Yep. And so Indrajit, you and I are in the same time zone. And Subrata, what time is it there? It's tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it's around 6:45 right now, early morning.
6:45 Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost like a little over a day ahead, or a day behind. Sometimes I feel more behind than ahead. But hey, I appreciate you guys, joining me tonight and hanging out and spending some time. And we're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about kind of what you guys do, what the instruments are. Indrajit, I lost you again, buddy.
Yes. Sitar?
No,
No.
the video.
Video.
Well,
Ah, there
there
you
was
are.
a call coming. I don't know why it came.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure either. Maybe. Oh, so when you disappear, we just know there's a call coming. So we still got you, which is good. All right. So
Yep.
we did a record that came out a couple years ago called Dream Shanti,
Yep.
and we had Roy Futureman Wooten, we had Chris Walters, myself, and Subrata and Indrajit, and we recorded everything here in my studio. At the time, the studio was reversed. I don't know if you remember, but I think the console was over there on
Right.
the other side of the room. So I've reversed everything in here, and but you know we had a few sessions in here, and I did a bunch of editing. We started to kind of work some stuff out, and I think for me one of the most challenging things on that session was not realizing that you guys don't read Western notation. And so when we were putting the tunes together, you know, I had some music I had written out, but you guys were like, that's not going to work. And so the one of the things I'm really interested in is you know, the process of how you learn music. You know, when you're starting to initially be taught how to learn music in India, what is that process like?
Okay, should I start or Indrajit? Let him start.
Go ahead. It's different.
Say one more time, Indrajit.
I said it's different, but basically it's the same thing. We start by.
You're breaking.
Am
Go
I
ahead.
breaking?
It's okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we learn by, you know, orally. Our tradition is like the Suzuki method here, like orally, you know. We train our ears. So even though you say the notes, we try to hear them, and then we visualize the notes also. So later on, what happened when I went to play others' music, like in private albums and the movie scores, then I learned how to read notation. But that's an Indian system. I can transcribe a piece of music by listening to an Indian notation with the time signature and exact notes, but which is not a staff notation or the Western notation. But we learn classical music mostly oral. It's an oral tradition.
Same here. Same goes here in tabla also, right? You know, it's kind of, you know, in tabla we have the language, proper language is there, syllables, then phrases. Yeah, by listening to that, the technique. I mean, you have to learn the technique, how to put your hand, everything, all that. But basically, when you're listening to all those vocabularies, all those syllables, and your guru, your teacher, is also executing that part. Hey, this is what it is, and you're just watching that, you're listening to that. And basically worldwide, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, everything is same beat wise. We have a tal system. It's kind of amalgamation of the beats. So based on that, we play whatever we want to, like on solo part, whatever. Like if your system, it's, you call it 8x4 or 4x8 or 6x8, something like that. So we call it different names of tals, like kaharwa or dadra, or maybe like 5. We call it like 5 plus 5, 10 bit cycle. It's called jump tal. So these are the stuff. But you played like 5, taka taka din din 1 2 1 2 3. It's like that. So same thing here. But basically we learn by listening, oral tradition, guru shishya, like teacher and disciples, something like that. Nothing is written there. But wait, the same goes with me as well. So when I'm composing or I'm playing with the people like you, world music and fusion, I just listen to the whole thing, and I just listen. I take it bar, like I just look into the bars, how it goes, how is the cycle there. Then I interpret my way, and I just execute that part.
So it sounds like kind of a mathematical approach to rhythm also. When you're saying that you're breaking it up into these different groups, it sounds like it's a somewhat mathematical approach too.
Yeah, true. Because if you don't understand the mathematics out there, beat wise, like how many bars you are playing over there, and what is inside the bar. One bar can be 5 beats, one bar can be 6 beats, one bar can be 3 beats, like cycle wise I'm talking about. So you have to figure it out how it is, and you just interpret the way we do work ourselves.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's always interested me the way that you're able to subdivide within the bars also.
Right.
With a lot of Indian music, it seems very complicated to me as a Westerner, the intricacies of the subdivisions,
Right.
and it's fascinating. So one of the other questions I had also, so when you're first learning, does your guru sing the syllables to you, and then you have to start to learn to repeat the syllables? Does it start with a vocal tradition, is my question.
True. I mean, it's a way. I mean, if you go back, I mean, it's the same thing. In those era, when people didn't have any idea how to write the like scriptures or whatever it is, there was nothing. So they used to imitate the sound. They used to do the sound work, like some kind of sound. So they passed it on to through the generation. So same goes with the tabla also. When the syllables are there, so you have to recite it. So syllables are basically kind of the sound I'm imitating through my instrument, or the other way around. So because the sound, if I say te or na or ge, these are all kind of syllables, but it's very much kind of, you have to reproduce that sound, whatever you are bringing out through your mouth, through your instrument. If I say te te, see, it's like sounds like that. Dha te te. So these are all like, kind of, there is a good word for this. It's a big one in English. I don't know exactly, I forgot the name, but yes, basically you're imitating the sound, whatever you are producing through your mouth. So you have to reproduce that sound by listening to your guru, what he or she is telling you. Like if there's a recite this dha dha te te, you have to recite exactly the way your guru is teaching you. So that because there are lots of dynamics, intonation, everything is there. So if you don't follow that, you lose it. So you have to bring,
So the length of the syllable, the articulation of the syllable, the sound of the syllable, all this is it's imitation.
Right, exactly.
I see. Yeah.
So if you don't do that, because the first and foremost thing you should know how to recite. So
you should know how to recite. Okay.
Because if you don't recite properly, you will not be able to exact that sound through your instrument. As simple as that. Because if I say dha, dha, see that air is coming out, it's kind of round, dha. If I say da, it's not going to work. DHA, it's not DA. So that's the difference.
I see.
So also you have to reproduce that sound over and over again so that you can get that going through your ear and registering here, and then you're reproducing that sound through your instrument. If I say da, if I say dha, see?
Sure. Yeah, there's a big difference
kind
there.
of big difference.
Yeah.
So that's how it is.
Yeah. Indrajit, is it the same for you with sitar, that it's begun as the vocal language also?
Yes. Initially, I didn't learn vocal, but afterwards, I could sing, and afterwards, I had to imitate vocal to get the intonation or the life of the music. As in a country song, you have to sing to imbibe that feeling,
Sure.
Kind of a thing that vocalization helps any kind of instrument, I think.
I agree. Yeah.
tal also, the rhythmic structure, because in our music we improvise. So they all are integrated. Vocal, tabla, as not as an instrument, but the theory and the playing techniques and the sounds and the tal, how it works, all this you have to know to play an instrument. It's better to know everything, and then you can integrate everything, and then the music is more spontaneous.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah. So for me also, one of the things that drew me to music initially was vocalists. And so when I play my instruments, I'm thinking about trying to emulate the human voice. And so it's interesting that there's a commonality there between what you're doing halfway around the world and what I'm doing over here also. You know, there's many of us who try to emulate the human voice when we improvise also, or when we play a note. So that's a fascinating part of it to me. And you know, I appreciate you guys sharing that. So one of the things I'd like to do, I want to play a tune off of Dream Shanti for everybody to be able to hear. And then after we're done with that, what I want to do is see if you guys will give a little demonstration of your instruments. And
Sure.
Indrajit, do you have any of your? Are you electrified today at all? Or is it just acoustic?
It's just acoustic.
Okay, so we can talk about the electric part of it too, because I know that you use a lot of pedals as well, which is a fascinating sound. But I'm excited so that they can hear the organic sound of the sitar.
Mine is pretty much organic. I cannot use.
Right, of course. Was that Indrajit?
I said I have a, just like you have a big saxophone, you know, I
Uh-huh.
have a bass sitar called Subhar, which I cannot carry. It's a like a big, like a, and a double bass. I
Oh
have
yeah,
that for you to listen to.
nice. Right on, right on. Okay, so we're gonna listen to the opening track off of Dream Shanti, and Subrata, this is your tune, right? This is called Joy.
Right, right.
Yeah, can you maybe talk a little bit about the inspiration of where this tune came from, the melody, just the idea of the tune?
Well, I mean, it's way back. The tune, when I composed it, it's way back in 2004 or three, some point. Because I was kind of, my family lives in the Middle East, in Muscat, and it's pretty much, I was just roaming by the side of the beach.
Hmm.
So that breeze and everything, and I felt something. And then suddenly I felt kind of, that, when you are in Spain or somewhere like Latin beach or whatever it is, that came into my mind. I felt that way. And that team, then I went back home. I sat down with my, like, I have a keyboard out there, simple. I just
Mhm.
try to, filling around with the notes and everything.
Hmm.
Suddenly I started playing that, something like that, simple.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how I started composing that tune. Then it becomes so big. And
Hmm.
thanks to you and all of the musician whoever participated in that, Roy Wooten, then Stephen Lazard, Carter Buford,
Mhm.
Chris Walters.
Yeah.
I mean, you people make it kind of sound like this big. Thank you
Yeah,
for
yeah.
that.
Stefan on bass, Stefan Lassard on bass also, and
Yeah,
yeah. Well, it's nice, when you bring something into to really great musicians,
yeah,
they make something new from it. You can
right,
bring in a simple melody, and then suddenly everybody may have an idea of like, oh, well, I can add this.
right.
It's almost like like when you have a potluck dinner or something. You're like,
True,
bring something, and then like maybe you have macaroni and cheese, and then somebody else brings like this other beautiful dish, and this other. So like after a few people show up, man,
right,
you got a feast,
right. True,
right?
true,
Which
true.
is
Yes.
pretty cool, man. It's pretty
Thank you.
cool. So let's listen to this.
Okay,
It's about 6 minutes long, and
for sure.
we'll listen down to the whole thing. And here it is. This is Joy off of Dream Shanti, written by Subrata, and we hope you enjoy it. It's Chris Walters on piano.
Mhm.
There's a little line in there that reminded me of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. That sounds like Gershwin. Carter Beaufort on drums, Stefan Lessard on bass, future man Roy Wooten on some percussion and drums also.
Jeff Coffin.
Trying to keep it straight.
Yep.
I love when Stefan starts swinging through it. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Walters on keys.
Stephen going like a walking.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wow.
That's a fun one, man. You know, it's interesting, you know, because I've spent so much time, you know, with the music that it's so familiar to me, you know? And I remember when we were working on it, I was trying to sketch the stuff out, and I was saying to Chris, well, you know, I think this is what Subrata wants. This is what he's talking about. But putting it together, because I was back out on the road. You were back in India. You were back down in some place called Austin, Texas. I don't even know where that is. And you know, so trying to put it together in a way that you know kind of made sense. It was really a challenge, man. But it was a super fun challenge. I put so much time into this record, and it was really a labor of love to me. And I'm so happy with the way it turned out. You know.
Yeah.
And then to get Carter and Stefan on there, that was really icing on the cake. That was a really beautiful thing to have all that come together. And of course, you know, they love it too, man. They were really enamored by it. Stefan said to send his love. I had invited him on, but he had some other stuff to do tonight, and it was totally last minute. But I was just happy to have you guys here for sure. And but he said to say hello and to send his love.
Yeah.
And so okay, so if you'll indulge me, I have one more question, and then Indrajit, I'd like you to show us what your instrument can do there. What is a raga? If you'll both maybe kind of take a turn and kind of speak to it.
It's Indrajit's stuff. Let him speak.
If I have to explain this, it's in a broad term, we think that it's like a scale or a mode with a set of disciplines. There are dominant notes, there are certain key phrases that we should use, and there is a ascending and descending order. Like when you are going up, you are supposed to use the same notes or maybe different notes. Sometimes when you're coming back, it's different also. So I have an example. My sitar is tuned to a scale here where I can show you how the raga, I would say, is like a personality. It's more than what I can explain. It's just a person. When you know a person for a long time, then you find out the peculiarities and the familiarities, all that you know is a raga. Here is a set of notes. So I have two minor notes, three minor notes here. Sa re ga ma pa da ni sa. I'm tuned to D here. And this set of notes can make a morning raga or a night melody, depending the use and the ascending and descending. So now showing you how we make it a morning raga. The morning raga is called Jaunpuri. It goes up like so it skips one note. Now, and the mood, if I play a short composition, you will see the mood is so different from the night melody which I'm going to play.
Okay.
So I'm singing and playing.
Great.
Sa re ma pa da pa ma pa pa da ni sa da pa ma pa ga re sa. So this is a mood of morning. We have another Darbari, night raga. So it goes like this. Ascending, descending. It's crooked.
And so do you have to follow that crooked melody every time you come down?
Yes. And also the touch note, like even if I'm playing a fast phrase, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to maintain this. And also the touch notes. It's not a straight.
Right.
So if I am playing fast also, I am going to maintain. So this is the thing here. In a raga, what am I when I'm playing slow alap or slow? I maintain the same thing when I'm playing fast also. Basically, same thing is going on. So you see the mood. And as a sitar, you have the glides. That's why vocal music comes in. If I say da 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 na. So sitar can do 5-note glides.
And so those notes in between the notes, when you sing or when you play, those are very much on purpose.
Yes.
It's not like a blues guitar player going boom, wah, 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 right? That's more of an emotional thing. But for you, those notes in between the notes are very defined and very intentional.
Yes, and they have also names. That's why we call it Indian ragas have 22 quarter tones. And
22 quarter tones. Okay.
They are defined with name and frequency.
I see. And so the sound, sort of the drone sound, if you will, that kind of buzzing sound that you get. Can you show us what on the instrument makes that drone sound happen?
No, he's talking about like the taraf and chikari, all those stuff, and your jury.
Drone sound.
Can you explain the structure and how many strings are there and how you?
Right. Exactly.
I mean, what exactly sitar is all about? Just can you explain that a little bit?
So here there is a carved fret, as you can see, and it follow pumpkin gourd here and a loop structure made out of wood. And if I take it like here, a natural scale, I have the octaves are so I can 4 octaves, and these flat strings here, and playable strings are 2. Since it's a card fret, they are not always in tune. The last 2 ones, we play slow melody by pulling and adjusting, like. So it's not in tune actually. So we cannot use. And these are drone chikaris. We make rhythms out of it. these are
I love that so much. So the frets are curved, so that's what gives it some of that sort of buzzy tone, right?
right. That's
I
right.
got you. And how many strings are on a sitar?
7 playable strings. Actually, playable strings 2.
2 playable strings. Okay.
2.
And so there's five vibrating strings.
No, 3 vibrating strings and
3.
2 lower octave fat strings.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So basically 4 playing strings, but they only 2 fat strings. Lower octave is played slow by adjusting. They are not in tune.
Yeah. So it seems like a pretty complicated instrument. I mean, probably not for you because you play it all the time, but it's a very different sounding instrument than a guitar. It's almost like if you had it's closer to a resonator guitar, isn't it?
Yes, I mean it's I would say you play with 1 finger. I can play with 2 fingers like this, then I can play real fast. Otherwise, in a scale, I can go like this, which can never be too fast. We have to practice a lot to play fast.
Yeah,
You know?
I would think so. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Subrata. Well, thank you, Indrajit. That was awesome. It's a great explanation. Subrata, you're up, and so maybe you can just sort of explain the drums that you play, and when you play, maybe one of the things you could do would be to do the vocalization of the drum sounds, and then when you're just playing drums, maybe tilt your computer down so we can actually watch your hands, because it's like watching fire, you know. It's like the flicker of a fire, man. It's crazy. I don't know how you guys do this. It's so great though. I love listening to you guys play and explain too.
Yeah. So I'm going to pull it down a little bit so that
Okay.
you can see. Okay. There it is.
So what are those?
So this is right hand drum. This is left hand drum. Okay. So both together becomes tabla.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. Sorry to interrupt, but if you have just one drum, is it considered tabla or is there a different name?
Now, both together tabla, not this one or this one. This together tabla.
Okay, so the word tabla is a plural word.
Yes, because this is right hand drum. We refer to it as daya because most of the people right-handers, so we call it daya, but left-hander is also there, lefty people.
Okay.
And this is left-hand drum. We refer it as baya. So both together tabla. So this is the right-hand drum is more kind of staccato sound, all very staccato. It's very straight. See?
Mm-hmm.
And this is legato, kind of give you the bass in a sense. This is bass, but give you the substance to the syllables. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah.
Because so without this, tabla is kind of very flat. Nothing is going to happen. All staccato. It's like that. It will sound like this. So the thing is, to begin with, this is kind of a right-hand drum is kind of made out of wood, and the left hand is that used to be kind of a clay pot, but nowadays clay pot is kind of very fragile. So so we use like brush thing, so made out of brush and hollow. Both are hollow, and this is goat skin, and the main part is like this black part. Without this sound is not going to come out. This is the very intricate part that gives you the sound, exact sound, intonation, whatever you call it.
In Subrata, is that added onto the drum or is that part of the original skin?
No, you have to add on later. After you put everything, skin, everything, then they put, this is kind of a iron dust. Then they put rice into that. Rice. Cooked rice, and they make a dough out of it, and then they just rub it time and time again to get the exact intonation. See, the layer is kind of very 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and goes up like this, oval shape, and then you'll get the sound like this, exact D or exact C or exact C sharp, whatever. So that's how it sounds. Same goes with the Maya. Maya has its own tuning. If you can listen to it properly,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to tune it according to, I mean, you don't have to do it, but yes, if you don't tune it properly, you'll not get that boom exact sound. So both together, there are lots of syllables. So it's syllables like our kind of language for tabla. This is the kind of only instrument probably which has the proper language for it. And out of that, we create compositions. Lots of kind of improvise, and in the solo part we have the improvisation and the kind of fixed compositions. It starts with kind of suruat, qaida, rela. These are all name of those compositions. Then it ends up with like gat, chakradapar, and tugura. So I'm going to execute a little bit so that people can get the taste out of it. You know?
Sure.
How it works. So I'm going to play simple qaida first, like. If I take it like, this is dha te te dha. So let me show you my mouth so that people can understand. It's kind of dha te te dha te te dha dha te te dha ga thunna ke na ta te te ta te te ta ta te te dha ga dhinna ge na. So, but to put exact emotion into it, you have to recite Dhatita dhatita dhadatita dhagatunaki dhatita dhatita dhadatita dhagadinagina dhatita dhatita dhadatita dhagatunaki dhatita dhatita dhadatita dhagadinagina. So then you feel like, oh no, what is that? Something is there. Right. So without putting dynamics or emotion, you'll not get that sound. So I'm going to imitate that through my instrument.
Fantastic.
So it's like. So by the way, this is based on teen tal. Once again, it's a amalgamation of 16 bits. And as I said, in our system, tal defines everything. You know, right? Without tal, you cannot play solo. Same goes with the raga pattern also. Whatever they're doing, they're based on the tal system. So I'm going to play. Yeah. Go ahead.
So 16 beats would be our 4/4 basically, right?
Great. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. So I'm going to do that. Din, da. This is teen tal. Da, din, ta, te, din, da. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, da, din, da, din, da. Ta, din, ta, te, din, da. Now, da te te da ga kunna ke na ta te te da te da te da te da te da ga kunna. Now, what I'm doing based on that main theme, I'm doing some variation. See? So this is how it goes. Okay, so this is qaida. So then there is rela, there is chakata. So I'm going to execute on rela, and based on that, I'm going to play 1, 2 cry. I'll recite that. So this rela is kind of a very faster speed board, we call it. A rela, what we came to know about, like in those era, like when the court musician used to play in front of the kings and everybody. So king asked the tabla player, can you create something resembling a rail, you know, steam engine or rail gari? You understand that, right? So they try to imitate that thing. That's how we came to know about it. Like, I don't know what exactly the story behind it, but this is how it goes. So this dhere dhere is resembling steam engine. We call it rela. Very famous rela, but very tricky and very hard. It's like
Oh, hey, Subrata, start again. It's cutting out on us.
so. Is that okay? Can you
It was
hear me now?
it was cutting out. Try it again. Yeah. It's cutting out again. Try it one more time.
Crossing the bridge. You see.
Yeah.
That's how it sounds. This is rela.
Yeah. Yeah. Subrata, unfortunately, some of that is cutting out on us.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure why. It may just be the Zoom connection. But maybe try it one more time and let's see if we can get a little of that sound to come out.
Is that okay now?
Nah, it's still cutting out.
Is that okay?
It is for a second, and then it tends to cut out. I'm not sure why. But let's try it again. Yeah, it might be a setting in Zoom that you would have to change, but it's a little complicated to do it right now.
Okay, I'm not using Zoom. It's YouTube.
Oh, it's YouTube. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why it's doing that.
Okay.
Let's try it one more time and see what happens. Yeah, I think it has some kind of compressor on it, Subrata.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean we can hear a little bit of it,
Anyways, I mean, it's kind of like this. If I recite it, so I'm going to recite it so that people understand how fast is that.
Yeah.
It's kind of so all you have to recite it fast.
Mm-hmm. We can hear it there. We can hear it when you do that. That was fine. Do it like that.
Yeah.
But sing it with it.
It's so fast. And at the end, like I'm going to recite one tukra. It's very it's a name of the composition. It's if you recite one poem on poetry, these are all kind of like that. You have to get the emotion out of it. So it's then na then na. Then na. This is also based on tin tal then na then.
That was good. Yeah.
Sing it as you go.
So, I mean, there are lots of materials out there. I mean, so I'm just giving you some glimpses.
Yeah. Subrata, could you try one thing for me? Go ahead and pull the computer down so we can watch your fingers. If you can sing with it,
Okay.
I think that will help. Yeah, we heard all that. That was beautiful, man. Yeah, I think what it is that when your vocal microphone thinks that it's background noise when you're not talking.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's what it was. Yeah, yeah.
And some of the lighter parts, when there are lots of genres out there, in the lighter version of music, like in Indian music also, like in classical music, we have the accompaniment is the most important part of tabla playing also, apart from soloing. So when you're accompanying, it's kind of in Indian system, we have khyal and lots of instruments like sitar, sarod, bansuri, and santur, lots and lots of things. So you have to judge the artist who is playing that instrument, and you have to figure it out what he or she is doing on stage straight away, and you have to play accordingly. And then the lighter version is we call it tungri, dadra, kajri, chaiti, ghazal, bhajan, lots of that things are there. So you have to play all those stuff according to that emotion for that song especially. So this is very intricate, like
very intricate
that's why
music.
they call it light. Tabla player should be a good psychologist, so that they should understand the psyche of the people what's doing on stage.
There's a lot of empathy.
Exactly.
You have to really listen and you have to understand. Yeah. That's fascinating, man. Thank you so much. It sounds so beautiful. Indrajit, I was wondering if you could show like when you count, sometimes we'll see this kind of thing going on, or it's on the fingers. I was wondering if you could maybe explain that to us also. In either one of you. I mean, if Indrajit wants to jump in on this, or either one, it doesn't matter to me which one wants
I'm doing it. So let me show you.
You got it.
So So the teen tal, as I said, 16-bit cycle, right? So you have to count it. So the way it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's the midpoint. There we come, like we show like this empty. It's not empty, basically. That's the midpoint.
That's the midpoint.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Da, then, da, da, then, da, da, then, da, then, da. So the division is as such, like we call it teen tali. Teen means 3 beat. Main beat is there, number 1, number 5, number 13 on, and the 9th beat is kind of like open. I mean, there is no sound actually, but that's the midpoint of the tal. So there are various tals are there. Like if I recite jhap tal is like 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3, but it has a midpoint as well, like dhina, dhina, tina, like open, tina, dhina, 1 2 1 2 3, 1 2 1 2 3. Based on this cycle, we have to figure out how to approach that, and you should not miss the like sum. Sum is the first bit of the tala.
Okay.
So that is the most important thing, and whatever you are doing, you have to come back to the sum, because everything binding in that tala. Based on that, you are doing whatever you want. Like the base is same, so you have to come back to the sum. That's the beauty of it. It's like if I say jhap tal, like a din na, din na, din na, di na, di na, di na, di na, di na. See, I'm playing. Nothing is there, but the count is here going on in my mind. That 10-bit cycle. I cannot miss that. If I miss it, that's wrong. So I have to come back to the sum. Da da dhi na dhi dhi na dhi na dhi 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 na da 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 tunda da 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 tunda da 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 tunda da 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 tunda da 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 da. See that
Easy for you to say.
So that thing is all, you cannot miss it. That is very intricate. It goes like this. Everything. I mean, it's very intricate, very complex thing going on at the same time, because you have to follow that beat. You cannot miss that. At the same time, you have to improvise. You have to figure out what syllables has to come out to match that thing, and it's kind of all interwoven. It takes a hell lot of a time to to master it. But I'm kind of not discouraging anybody. I'm encouraging everybody to come and learn and listen to this kind of music. And the basic thing is like, it looks like very simple instrument, tabla, two drum. It's not that simple, because sound wise, you have to bring out the exact intonation, exact dynamics, all those modulation to create all those, like painting. I call it painting. There is a empty space, and you have to paint something out of nothing. Like all those syllables are there. You have to paint. You have to create something.
Right. So you have to have a deep understanding of sort of the vocalization, but also the subdivision. Exactly. So let's say, for example, that someone was coming to you, because I mean, this is some lofty stuff. I mean, this is some heavy shit. And so if someone was coming to you and they said, "Hey, I'm interested in the tabla," like what would maybe be the first lesson that you would teach them? Let's say maybe about rhythm or about sound. What would be like, someone knocks on your door and says, "Hey, Subrata, I want to learn about tabla. I know nothing about it." How would you start a student?
The first, I have to teach him the technique, because without technique, you are nothing. Simple. Okay. So you cannot figure it out how, because you have to know the intricacies. Intricacies comes later on, but first you should know how to move your muscle. Basically, it's muscle you're moving, right? Like a sprinter, when they run, the coach tells them how it works, right? You cannot go and start running. You cannot be Usain Bolt that way. Yep. So, but the thing is, you should know the technique first. So I teach them the technique, how to keep your hand, how to sit, how to keep your hand on the tabla, and how to hit certain stroke. There are lots of strokes behind it. So if I say, see, the movements are very simple, but it's very intricate, because it's balance is like this is holding finger is like it coming down like this. People will say very simple, but to bring out only this sound, it takes a hell lot of a time. They cannot bring out this sound straight away. Very hard. So
it's a very strong sound also. So there's a lot of power.
But power is there, but I'm not hitting so hard. It's coming out like this. The balance is there. So get the balance right. So it takes time to get all those balance, all those like technique right, everything. So depending on Baya also, Baya is a different subject also. It has lots of movements. See? So get that sound going, bring out. It's very simple. See, it's very, this balance is there. You cannot push it hard or push it lighter, exact to get that, to get exact sound. I mean, you have to have that balance going. So it takes very, very, very kind of a long time to get that balance right first.
Right.
Then you think about the sound you're producing. So it's all frequency. Like when you're playing saxophone, there is also something. You cannot play do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. It's something, you have to have that emotion going in that, right? So same thing goes with the tabla also. If I say, it doesn't sound right? Something is amiss. You cannot hit like the way you are hitting something banging or something. No, it's not banging. You're trying to reproduce the sound, and you're trying to catch the frequency, exact frequency of that syllable. Dha or tete, dhatete. These are the frequencies. So you have to feel that frequency. Later part, like not in the beginning, but in the beginning, I have to teach them the technique, the basic bowls that gives you the base of tabla learning. Tere kete taka, that is the base. Then dha dha tete. These are simple movements, but all kind of muscle movements. So when your muscle starts memorizing all those stuff, I call them muscle memory. You know that, all muscle memories. So if you start doing that, the muscle gets that information.
Yeah.
Like then for us right now, we don't have to think about like what to like how to play. Right. That's the basic. It's all I'm thinking here, it's coming out from my hand. It's all there.
Right.
So that memories you have to feed in. Like it's kind of in the computer, you're feeding all those information or whatever.
Absolutely.
So then it comes out straight away. So that's how it is. But the frequency and everything, that integrate parts comes later on. But in the beginning, you have to know the exact technique. That's how I teach the students first, because you have to have the right technique. Otherwise, you cannot master it.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Right.
And in Indrajit, I would imagine it's the same for you, that you have to work on how to hold the instrument, the basic technique of what that is.
Yes, this is true for everything. You know, the less energy you spend and do it way, you're going to go forward much easier.
Right.
That is so true, and I'm very happy that my teacher showed me the techniques so that I am able to play today, not struggle so much.
Yeah. Yeah. And so let me ask you this, Indrajit. How did you start to play? Like, what was it that brought you to the sitar?
Well, my mother was a professional sitar player. She was broadcasting from radio every month, and my maternal side, everybody is a musician, and you may be knowing, this my Guruji Pandit Kartik Kumarji. He's my maternal uncle. He is my guru for last 30 years. He was with Ravi Shankar and George Harrison in the Black Record. You know that tour they did was him with Hariprasad Chaurasia ji and Shiv Kumar ji. They were all there in that tour. So he's from that time, and his son Niladri Kumar. You are talking about electric sitar. Actually, I'm a very traditional, and I'm almost past 50. So I won't go back there even, but I was here, and we were not talking about developing any kind of sitar. He developed an electric sitar, and he named it sitar in India. And he's much younger than me, 10 years younger than me. So, but here I always thought about, I was trying pickups and all, because when I used to play with bands, loud drums and all, I had problems. So I devised this, I took that small sitar and I put an acoustic pickup. In my own way, I developed that. But basically, I got the inspiration from Niladri Kumar, who is one of the finest sitar players in the world now. He is in this album where he played this sitar. This album is a global drum project.
Ah, sure. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was played this sitar in that one. So, and then, I have been 10 years here. The best thing about me being here 10, 14 years, I got to get a feel of, not when I was in India, I used to listen to music, but here I see the players and I experience firsthand, and then I listen to them over and over. So I get the feel of it. So this sound world of soundscape and pedals and all this is fascinating. So even though I was a purist, I have one of my feet on this side now.
Sure, I understand. So you've been able to assimilate some of the cultural references of Western music and integrate that into what you do with the pedals on the sitar, the Z-I-T-A-R, as well as playing more traditional music as well on the sitar.
Yes, I mean,
Yeah.
the one thing about sitar is you plug in and there is no feedback.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Yeah.
That's what I like about that instrument. But it's never the sound of acoustics is always what people are looking when they talk about sitar.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. But it's a fascinating sound with the pedals. It's a very interesting sound, and it gives you a lot of different things to choose from also.
And I see this quality in you too, because you just don't play. When you play jazz, you play jazz, and when you are playing with, Bela Fleck, and I've seen you. I've experienced one day with your band there with the Dave Matthews, and I've seen the kind of things that you play. But you also have a very holistic approach, and like soundscape that you do.
Right.
Getting different kinds of sound.
Sure.
Just can make music,
Yeah.
One thing I want to ask, Jeff, sorry to interrupt you. So how do you approach what was your take on, when you look at our music, like when we are playing our like classical music, how do you look at it, and how do you interpret that? Because when I first met, you were kind of very myself and Praveen were there, way back. So then you were kind of,
you're turning the tables on me, man. You're switching the interview around.
No. I'm just asking because
no, it's a great question. No, it's very interesting.
Why interesting? I'm telling you, because the composition, what we have done, like my composition and Indrajit's composition, you took it into another level. It's so different now. It's sounding very different. That's what my question,
Yeah. Well, I remember having a conversation with Bela Fleck many years ago, and he was talking about, having played with Zakir Hussain, and he's playing with Hariprasad now, also with Edgar Meyer, and not Hariprasad, but his nephew Rakesh. Is that right?
Rakesh, yeah.
Rakesh, yeah. And but he had done some work with Indian musicians years before also. And he said, it's interesting. He says, because Bela's, a very wide musician, whether it's African music or bluegrass or Celtic or jazz or whatever, funk, whatever it is, And he said, I'll never be an Indian musician. I'll never be an African musician. He says, I sort of dabble in all these different places. And he said, but I love those musics. And I study those musics not to become those players, not to become an Indian musician or an African musician. You get what I'm saying, right? But to sort of put that patch on the sleeve, to wear part of that coat. Maybe two socks are Indian, and then the pants are from Africa, and the shirt is from the deep south of America with the blues. So there's different aspects of the music that we start to understand. So when I listen to your music, I'm listening to it with Western ears, but with a small understanding of having listened to Indian music. So when I listen to it, I think, oh, well, I could do this. And sometimes I have to admit, like when I do certain things, I think like if a traditionalist listened to this, they could be offended by it. And my approach is never to offend anybody's cultural sensitivities, especially in the arts. The music that you guys do and that you understand is so far beyond my understanding. But when I hear it, I get excited because I'm thinking, wow, I could bring some of my personal understanding to the table also. And I think that that can change the sound of the music. It becomes a fusion
Right.
of different styles of fusion. Not like, it doesn't have to be a funk fusion. It doesn't have to be this kind of fusion, but a fusion in the sense that we're taking elements of one and
True.
putting them with the other. We're fusing them together.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the idea of fusion. And, you know, one of the we've just lost one of our masters of fusion music, the great Chick Corea.
Oh,
You know, what a loss for all of us. But
All
we
of
had him
us,
for
yeah,
we had him for almost 80 years, man.
right.
You know, we had him for almost 80 years, and he's profoundly influenced all of us. You know,
Yeah, all of us, all of
And,
us can feel it.
but he was one of the first guys. Well, not just one of the first guys, but one of the guys to really take it to a very high level of what ended up being called fusion music. And so, you know, for me, when I hear it, I think, what can I add to this? What can I try
Right.
and sort of put together with this
Yeah.
that will lift the music, you know, elevate the bandstand.
Right.
And
right. Same goes
so-
with me as well, you know, me or Indrajit, how he takes it. Because when I'm looking at your music,
sure.
I listen to that, you know, I love all those stuff, you know, be it jazz or Latin or funk, whatever it is.
Yeah.
At first, I mean, you shared that, right? You said that, like, you know, you have to feel it first. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't necessary to go, I mean, get into the grammar or whatever it is there, but basically you have to feel it first. That's how I look at all those music. You know, you have to have the ear to, you know, listen to that and
Yep.
feel it first.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you cannot express yourself, right? If I
Right.
don't hear you properly, I will not be able to answer back. That's
That's exactly
that's
right.
how-
Yeah.
that's how I take it, you know.
So listening has to be at the top of the fundamental pyramid.
Everywhere, yes,
Yeah.
listening,
Yeah.
because
That's the key.
listening, that's the key, you know. We
Mhm.
have to, in India we call it, you know, there was a master, Tansen, big name, Tansen, and nowadays we call like, you know, Kansen. Kansen means, Kan means ear, you know.
Hmm.
So you should be Kansen, as if like you are a Tansen. Tansen was a big master, you know, he was
Yeah.
on top. So you have to be Kansen to feel all this music. So you
Yeah.
have to have a good ear rather, you know,
Absolutely.
so that you can feel that music.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so with that in mind, actually, I have one question, and then I want to play this last tune, and then we'll say goodbye after that.
So,
And we'll put this into the chat later to make sure everybody spells it correctly. But I'm wondering if each of you could give me the names of 2 Indian musicians who you think we should all listen to. And maybe you could spell the names. I'll write them down to make sure that we have them right.
and tabla, and
Whatever. One could be tabla, one could be not tabla.
okay. So for me, look, obviously my Guruji, Maestro, Sangitacharya, Pandit Shankar Ghosh,
Shankar,
Shankar, Shankar Ghosh,
Ghosh.
Ghosh, yes.
Yeah.
Then his like what should I, his sister's son, Pandit Shwapan Chaudhury, Shwapan Chaudhury, Shwa, Shwapan Pan, Chaudhury, Chaudhury, Chaudhury. Then obviously Ustad Zakir Hussain,
Right, of course.
of course. And the sitar, like Indrajit is going to take the same name, I'm sure. Pandit, our like guru, I mean, master of the masters. Pandit Pandit Ravi Shankar, obviously.
Ravi Shankar, right, of course.
Yeah. Then another maestro, Ustad Ali Khan Sahab, Ustad Ali Khan. Then Ustad Vilayet Khan, Vilayet, probably, if I'm not wrong. Vilayet Khan.
Yep, I'll check it
Then-
and make sure.
Yeah, then Pandit Nikil Bannerjee.
Nikil Bannerjee, yeah.
Yeah, without him, it's incomplete. These are the names just came into my mind.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I mean, I'm not getting into the vocal part because vocal.
No.
is
This is great because I want to be able to share with people some of the names that are so important. You know.
Yes. I said
Yeah.
but Indrajit can add on to that because if I missed out on something.
Yeah, what you got, Indrajit?
Well, if you are talking about, he named, we are talking about flute, Hariprasad Chaurasia ji,
Right.
Pandit Prasad Chaurasia. And then there could be
Shiv Kumar Sharma.
is Shiv Kumar Sharma ji. This is talking about Santur.
And what's the name again?
Santur.
Santor, Santor.
T-O-O-R. That's the instrument name.
T-U-R-A-N-T-O-O-R.
Okay, and what's the name?
It's Pandit Shiv, S-H-I-V, Kumar, K-U-M-A-R, Sharma, S-H-A-R-M-A. And they have a duo, they have many records with Zakir Hussain, and those are a great pair.
Sorry, I missed out on one name. Pandit Anidyo Chatterjee. How can I forget that? Pandit Anidyo Chatterjee.
Can you spell it?
A-N-I-D-Y-A, Anidyo Chatterjee. C-H-A-T-T-E-R-J-E-E, Anidyo Chatterjee.
Okay.
Yes.
A-N-I-D-Y-O.
Y-O or Y-A. You just put
I'll find
Anindo, you'll get lots of hell.
Great. I'll find it.
Yeah.
Also, to name, you may know him. That is Niladri Kumar, my cousin, sitar and
Spell it for me.
yes, Niladri. Niladri Kumar, Kumar. He's from this generation. Sitar and zitar, both you can hear him playing.
Great. That's awesome. Well, we'll make sure that these go into the YouTube chat as well. Okay, so well, first of all, you guys, thank you so much for spending some time here. Also, one of the comments, I've gotten such a greater appreciation of a type of music I had not really listened to much before. Thank you so very much. That's from Don Harris, who's checking this out also. And so what I'd like to do is first of all, I want to announce also that when I do these live streams, that for the audience members, if they're interested in donating to into the air studio streams, this money goes directly into the Nashville Musicians Fund. And so they can go to itastudiostreams.com, and 100% of the proceeds go to local Nashville musicians, most of whom at this point are out of work because of the shutdown and have been for many months. And I've been doing this since last April, and we've raised a lot of money so far, and it's been fantastic. No amount is too small, no amount is too large, so we like to make that announcement here also. And so just want to let people know, itastudiostreams.com if you're interested, and I'll throw that into the chat here as well while we're listening to this last tune. So this last tune that we're going to do is Take It to the Bridge, and this is a tune that I wrote, and you were kind of talking about this earlier, about how you guys integrate into our music also, in the Western sense. And so this tune is influenced by James Brown and Maceo Parker, and different funk music that I'm interested in. This has got Carter Beauford on the drums, Stefan Lessard on bass, Future Man Roy Wooten on drums and percussion, Chris Walters on keys, and then the three of us, and just throwing down on this. This is a really fun tune. And we're going to end with this, and then when this is over, we'll say a quick goodbye. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Sorry about the technical difficulties earlier, and I don't know what's going on with Facebook, but they blocked us for some reason. And it looks like that may be happening going forward on Facebook. So
thank you, Jeff.
Revamp.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're very welcome. Thank you. My pleasure. As always. It's great to see you guys, man. Really love you guys, and it's been such an honor to work with you. And I know that we'll do some more in the future. When that will be, who knows, but we'll make it happen. So here's Take It to the Bridge from Dream Shanti on Ear Up Records. You can go to earuprecords.com. And we'll make sure that there is a link to this as well. So here you go. Take It to the Bridge. tabla's so funky. I really love this breakdown.
Yeah. And you go. Yeah.
Man, we were doing remote recording before it was hip to do remote recording. Yeah, Carter Beauford. Bad dad. That's a fun. Yeah, so I was saying in the middle of it that you know, we were doing a lot of this recording remotely also.
Right.
Before it was hip to do remote recording. You know, we were way ahead of the game.
Yeah, right.
Well, so we'll make sure that links to your respective sites are up, on the YouTube video. And I just want to let people know about the Dream Shanti project also. I put the link up onto the YouTube chat page also, so people can check that out. And this is an improvisation that we did here that we're just playing a little bit in the background, called Miles Meets the Mahatma, talking about Miles Davis and, of course, his profound influence on all styles of music that are going on today. The giants of the music, many of them are gone. The great Milford Graves left us today also, a profoundly amazing percussionist that has influenced me heavily over the years also, for the last 30 years, nearly 30 years, since I became hip to him. And so there's a lot to be thankful for, and a lot to be grateful for, and I'm certainly grateful for both of you guys.
Oh.
And Leoko sends her love also. She said she can't wait to see you back in Nashville sometime. And, Yep. And Indrajit, you just had a new baby, so congratulations to you. It's been a few months now, but we're so happy for you. And new life in the world is always a beautiful thing. And so thank you guys very much. Much love. Peace to you guys. And, we'll talk to you soon. We'll stay in touch. And I look forward to our next meeting also. But thank you for such a beautiful night and such great information on your instruments, and for being such marvelous musicians and such marvelous human beings also. So we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Jay.
Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And we'll talk to you later, everybody. You guys can hang on here for just a minute. I'm going to sign off.
Okay.
Thanks, y'all. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.